John is the author of As One Fire Consumes Another, which won the 2019 Orison Poetry Prize, and Skin Memory, winner of the Backwaters Prize, plus 3 more books that had the distinction of not being published in just the last year, like the other 2. His work has been awarded the Wabash Prize, Philip Booth Award, Phyllis Smart Young Prize, and Laux Miller Prize. He serves as editor of The Inflectionist Review and works as a freelance poetry editor and literary agent. Is there nothing this thing cannot do? If I had to find one word to describe John's work, I'd tell you that he is a poet of fire. And yes, that designation applies on the surface. After all, the title of his last book is As One Fire Consumes Another. But it goes far deeper than that. Small fires and large spring forth from his poems, in a world that often feels, he writes, as if we're not living in one of many discarded rough drafts of heaven. It is a world ablaze, but not always or not only with destruction. These are poems, too, of humans fighting back, burning and flowing and changing. They look hard, both inward and outward, at what it means to love, to die, to face one's eventual death and that of what we love, to worry for our families and our planet, and to do so in a world that gives us so many possibilities for both hope and fear, for hoping to stay open and to keep looking. I know the hinges give me away, one poem admits. To be this open requires doors. Please join me in welcoming John Sibley Williams.
Surprisingly. My mother says fox while gesturing toward an old red wagon that's been abandoned in our yard for decades. Fox. A word so cavernous her entire body vanishes into it. Body of misfiring electrons, scattered images, no contexts. Body that is mainly just a body now. No other animal knows how to beat this incomplete. I think if you were a fox, coyotes would have eaten you by now. But I say, yes, Mom, I'll climb into that fox and let you pull me through the high grass one more time. I just starting to start with that, just to get the hard stuff off. It was also it was the 5-year anniversary of her passing a few weeks ago also. So. And that was called Death is a Work in Progress, which it always is. Yeah, and thank you for that beautiful introduction. That was so beautiful. All the beautiful introductions, very much. And thank you both for inviting me. This is so beautiful. I've lived here 10 years. I've never been to this garden before. And everyone here, of course, but in particular all the other readers. I know it's one of those things you're supposed to say where, oh, everyone is great, and sometimes that's the case. It's not always the case that you actually enjoy everything that you've heard from everyone, especially when there's so many different genres. But it was absolutely astounding readers. So thank you so much for inspiring me. I think I'm going to write some poems based on what I heard today. Of non-poets, too. It's incredible. It all sounded like poetry, didn't it? Even the creative nonfiction essays, it sounded like poetry. Beautiful. I don't have anything involving much in the way of humor in my poems. After that absolutely moving, touching story, there's so many ways of approaching like catharsis and, in a deep, deep emotion. There's so many ways of approaching it, but approaching it approaching it from the simple, the mundane, the one situation, humorous, and then coming to that emotion. It is not often my approach to getting to the emotion. So I apologize for that. Just get down and dirty. This, I guess, first one that I'm going to read is, So, is called No Evidence, and it begins with two quotes. One is from an article in Democracy Now! Back called Mass Graves of Immigrants Found in Texas. The first line of that article is, Texas says there is no evidence of wrongdoing after mass graves filled with bodies of immigrants were found miles inland from the US-Mexico border. If you guess the date on that article, no, it was 2015. It wasn't 2020. And I assume when I was writing these poems, you write poems, you submit, you do all that other stuff, and by the time the book comes out, I'm like, people aren't even going to remember all this stuff. I didn't know it was actually going to continue. And the second quote is from historian Peter Greenaway, who says, there are basically only two subject matters in all of Western culture. Anyone? Who said that?
I've mentioned.
That's because you heard me read before you. Cheating. So, if, in terms of a visual, if you've ever seen images from Pompeii, right, that kind of totally encased. If you take the context away, the horror away, it's so beautiful. Like as an art installation, it's so beautiful. And there's something about the images from this article that remind me of that. Body atop body in some vague act that might be called love, if not for the caption, mass grave discovered. What I took to be mouths frozen in ecstasy, limbs linked in lust, men and women united in a heavenly gesture that I would never know, angled just slightly into horror. The meaning we make from things depends on the camera's eye. I cannot see the undead stars surely overhead, the white windowless van abandoned nearby, faces finally reconciling with their names. As I cannot see myself with all the mirrors removed, as I cannot touch my wife when she rolls to the window edge of the bed, backlit by the teeth of border lights, sewn into the hide of the landscape like maps. Dozens of officers shovel up hundreds of loose-fitting bones. Parents, children, and doubled over, sexless stars, all profanely beautiful. I told you there's nothing to be laughing at. Hearing about the masculinity, having masculinity, right, as you had introduced in your poems. And that's something that I explore quite a bit in both collections also. Partially now that I'm a parent and fears of what my grandfather to my father to myself, what I pass on to my children each time. I think it's getting a little better, from what I understand. A couple of us, we just are all from Boston. A couple of us. So, things a little less hard, hopefully, for generation. But a lot of fears about that. And obviously, culturally speaking, men scare the crap out of me. For being a man myself, I'm quite terrified of men. So, this next poem is called Pinata. Body broken into, all the sweetness torn out. Brightly dyed paper flakes linger in the grass as if someone has sanded down the sun. The husk of an animal hangs loosely from a sky clouding over in storm. Tomorrow he will be a man. Until then, sticks are just sticks. Thrashing the insides out of some martyred paper beast is just play. Lollipop, marzipan, tamarind. Fire works its way up the arm, into bottle rocket, into bang. The sky glimmers and is gone. And whatever those boys can carry home between their teeth will be theirs. Yes. So a lot of it scares me, especially having a 3-year-old son myself. It gets quite scary now. But as a very brief aside, so it's not that dark, for my twins' 3rd birthday this summer, and we were looking for something to do real quick. We need a theme or something. And we were going through Target someplace, and I was like, oh, look at all these pinatas. And I got all excited. And I got excited. I was like, that's going to be so cool. And we're going to get a pinata, we'll do this, and then little friends will come over and stuff. And my wife is the one that told me, my wife was just like, you know, you have that poem you wrote about not teaching little boys to hit animals with sticks, and things like that. So we didn't end up doing that. It was a lot less fun at a party, to be fair. But Peppa Pig is good too. No, I'm glad we didn't do that. I'm glad you reminded me. It's hard to remember what we tell ourselves and what we write, the lessons behind what we write. Real quick, just because I mentioned that one, I want to read a little poem about, being a parent. Sovereignty. 200 green plastic army men circle around a tea set. All right. See, there's a laugh. Hey. All the Matchbox cars are up on blocks in the lawn. While my daughter's dolls wage wars with the flamingos basking in a flagpole's shadow, the mower is making birdshot of each dandelion head. For once, summer is what it seems. Just a trick of the light, a mistranslation, a castle of air. And all fathers are invented gods. And now I am a father, inventing a world where a matchstick sailboat can set the entire ocean ablaze. My children take turns pulling me around our safe green box of earth in a red wooden wagon. It doesn't take much to convince the sky that we have no idea how to hold it. I wrote that before the kids were, when we were still pregnant, so apparently that is exactly, no idea what I'm doing. That's exactly how it feels. And I'm just going to read one more poem, if I may. It would be fairly obvious, or I guess you could say it's a dedication to, not an individual, but people. It's called The Crossing. Tell me what not to do with heaven-faced children, torn between parents, torn apart by a river that's tearing a long, muddy scar into this long and lengthening landscape. Then tell me again why we are the only animal bound by maps, shifting allegiances. Tell me what not to forgive of the stars, what color skin my skin is forbidden to touch, what heart my heart cannot possibly hold without breaking. Don't tell me the best way to break a body without damaging its shell. We all know how that story ends. Ask the bridled horses. Ask mothers waiting on docks for warships never to return. Ask any long, cold winter night in any part of any country that any child has ever fled to find herself no closer to home. Please tell me, what road that begins in ruin ends somewhere beautiful? Thank you.